Good morning, David Kern here with the CBS AM Debrief for Friday the 16th of September. Overnight market action. We've got our fourth straight day of increases in the US indices, and certainly it looks like the European debt crisis issue is being addressed largely by central bank intervention there. The interesting thing to note is that the credit default swap market has factored in almost 100% probability that Greece will default. So we've got the equity market saying one thing and the credit market saying another thing, and one of them clearly is going to be wrong in all of this. So anyway, it's reasonably nice to see all these green numbers on the screen, and we're going to have a look at those exact numbers here. The Dow at 186 up 1.66, so pretty big move there. The S&P 500 up 1.72, Nasdaq 134, Toronto 1.07. Mexico had some pretty strong local growth numbers. That was up 1.50, and Brazil up 0.17. Over in Europe, the 50 Euro Stocks index was up 3.47 rather, and the FTSE up 2.11, the CAC up 3.27, and the DAX up 3.15. So a lot of that was a result of the banks doing quite well in terms of the recovery in their prices having been sold off in recent weeks and months. Moving on down to have a look at what's happened in our region. We ended up 65 up the day, pretty strong move there. The Hang Seng up 136 and the Nikkei 225 up 150. In terms of futures for our local region, the Nikkei up 100, the Hang Seng up 200, and we're pointing up 46 at this stage, so up to 4,143. So well clear of that 4,000 level. That level did end up holding, and it seems that the way to trade this market at the moment is just trading in that range there, 4,000 up to 4,300, 4,400 thereabouts, and then take profit. Okay, looking now to our commodities. The price of crude up near $90, 89.40. So that's pushed up quite strongly here. We get back up towards that level of resistance that we've been talking about at $90, and at this point we would consider taking a short position there. Once we've got some of these seasonal issues out of the way, that has been also helping to push that up, but certainly tepid demand should start to see that price come off again. Natural gas took an absolute pounding last night, down 4%. I presume that was on some inventory numbers. I haven't had a chance to look at that this morning as yet. To the rest of the commodity space, lots of red numbers here, the only exceptions being wheat and sugar, rough rice and wool holding steady. The big decliners were soy, down 2.59, wheat down 1.21, orange juice down 2, a big move on corn, 3.21, coffee nearly 2%, and lesser degrees for cocoa and canola. Okay, let's move on down here and look at copper now. Quite a big move up, $3.95. Now I know it was saying yesterday that felt that copper might be a bit overdone here and is due for a pullback here, but not looking like that this morning. Yeah, one day does not make a trend. Gold really came off here, back below 1800, and does look like it's going to continue to put in this consolidating phase here. Silver down a similar percentage, similarly in percentage terms, for $1.03. To our currencies, we had mostly non-US dollar strength here. So euro at 1.3884, the pound at 15799, the US dollar buying 76.7615 yen, the Aussie buying a little bit more than yesterday, 103.34, and the US dollar buying 0.9837, Canadian, and 0.83 8,699 Swiss francs. Okay, let's have a look now at the economic calendar. Really very little to finish the week out with. So probably expect to see that our market will pretty much take these overseas leads at the moment, because there's very little local data, and for that matter, there's very little data from offshore, apart from these two second-tier announcements: National Consumer Conference, Philadelphia Fed, and sorry, in fact, that number's already out. That came in at negative 17.5. The expectation was negative 15, and long-term capital flows, that number will be out around 11 o'clock this evening. In terms of what happened yesterday, we had the CPI numbers come out of Europe, right in line with expectations. Then we had some slightly better CPI numbers, or slightly more greater CPI numbers than expected, 2% rather than 1.9, and 3.8 rather than 3.6, so just a little bit on the higher side than expectations there, suggesting inflation is starting to develop there in the United States. Okay, so let's finish off with just having look at a couple of things here on the Falcon Trader. This is the S&P 500 chart. Just seeing here that we're staying within this trading range, and really I won't be able to sort of take a direction until we've seen a break out of either of these points here. So we're actually getting quite close to the top side there, which is quite interesting. Next thing I wanted to look at was Energy World Corporation. Now, we last traded this back in March after the tsunami there wreaked havoc on Japan's nuclear power industry, and we saw the likelihood of a good uptick in demand for natural gas. Since then, that's traded up to over 70 cents, but has since pulled back here now. I'd be pretty comfortable looking to get set on this in the mid-50s again, but we need to see some sort of a reversal pattern first. At the moment, it just appears to be in pretty much in a free fall there. But I do quite like the outlook for Energy World Corporation. Just following up here on a couple of other things. Luca there yesterday, I was expressing concerns about that. It hasn't changed too much. I know it did move up a little bit yesterday, but yeah, it's still looking pretty weak there. Cotton came off a little bit last night, as we know, but continues to look pretty constructive here. ResMed grinding back higher. It's had 4 straight sessions up now. And I think I'll leave it there. This should be my last session. Jonathan back on deck next week, so I'll have the normal schedule back in play then. In the meantime, have a great weekend and happy trading. Bye-bye.